Hello, everybody. It is Monday night, and you're with Brandy Woods on PHU TV. I am so excited. We have a treat for you. My good friend Brandi Spencer is on tonight, and she's going to be teaching us how to be fearless in business. I'm so excited that you decided to spend your Monday night with us, learning about how to grow your business. We had such a great time with Natalie LaFall last night. I got so many calls and emails and responses from that interview. She really taught us how to leap into our destiny. I'm so excited for those of you who emailed me and texted me and told me what you did differently this week to leap into your destiny. Nat did a great job. I'm very excited that she came on and that she's a part of this project. But tonight, we have Miss Brandi Spencer from Houston, Texas, and she's going to be teaching us how to be fearless in business. We're going to learn Fearless Business 101. I'm going to read you one of my favorite quotes. The quote is very simple. Some of you know it because Nelson Mandela used it. Some of you know it because Marianne Williamson used it. But the quote simply says our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate, but our deepest fear is that we're powerful beyond measure. So if you think about that, are you afraid in business because you feel like you don't have all the skills? Or are you afraid that you might succeed, and then what would that lead to? Well, no matter where you are on the fear spectrum, I just want to tell you on tonight, we need to learn how to use fear, not let it paralyze us, so we can get the life that we desire and deserve. So without further ado, I want to bring on my co-host, Miss Brandi Spencer. Hi, Brandi. Can you hear me? All right.
I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're a lovely lady. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about Consider the Possibilities. I've always loved that name. Every time I see it, it makes me go, what am I not doing? So how did you come up with Consider the Possibilities?
Well, do you hear an echo?
No, you're good.
Well, when I started my business, one of the things that I did was really took a look at myself and my personality and the things that I naturally do. And I find myself always asking people, well, have you considered this? Or, helping people think bigger. And that's something that my dad really instilled in me before he passed. He was like, Brandy, you got to think bigger. And so that's something that I'm always challenging myself to do. And I always challenge the people who I talk to think bigger and think, don't let your circumstances or your environment frame the vision that you have for yourself. It can be so that and so much more. And that's how I started the name for the business. Just consider the possibilities and don't limit yourself. And that's really what everything that I stand for is today.
Well, I noticed that even in your information, and if you're not on Brandi's email list, is it brandispencer.com?
Yes, you can go to brandispencer.com, and there's a couple of opt-ins or offers that you can sign up for on the homepage.
Yeah, I mean, she always is definitely encouraging people to think beyond their possibilities and think beyond just the small. I was on a talk that you did not long ago about getting corporate contracts, and I just thought that was wonderful because so many of us think small. And a lot of that is framed in our fear, what we feel like is acceptable. Some of our parents have told us, go to school and get a good job. Luckily, that's not what I was taught. I was taught, hey, do whatever you want to do, and I'm support you. I teach my kids, my little girl, Madison, and love her to death. She calls herself a little boss. And I'm like, go ahead on, little boss. And they just feel like they're a part of the family business. They feel like they are part of this decision-making process. But everybody didn't have that same platform to start from. And a lot of people are very fearful about what does it mean to own a business, and what does it mean to go to the next level? What will that cost me? And so with all the people that you work with, and I know that you have the Fearless Biz Academy, I know that some people have talked about their fear. So tell us, what are some of the biggest fears people express about owning their own business or being an entrepreneur?
Fear of messing up, fear of losing it all, fear of disappointing their family, fear of getting in trouble on that good job and people talking about them, There's all kinds of fears. And then there's also fears like, am I really good enough to do this? Do I have what it takes to make this thing happen? Like, can I really do this? So there's all types of fears that people have. But what I've found is that if you get really clear about what the fear is and ask yourself, like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, before I'm homeless, I'll probably get a part-time job or something like that. So that's probably not, a logical fear. Or if my current company is paying me $80,000 a year, I think that they're pretty good at spotting a good investment. So if they believe in you that much, you probably can believe in yourself that much. If they're paying you $80,000, that means they can get $160,000 or $240,000 worth of value out of you in a year, because they're trained to look for good investments. And so if they've decided to invest in you, then it's time to invest in yourself and to believe in yourself that much. So all types of different fears, but it's all about just getting realistic and knowing that a lot of those urges that you feel, the desires of your heart are really God telling you that that's what you're supposed to be doing. So it's about really believing in yourself, believing in your purpose, and then just trying it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Try.
I love the way you said that, and I don't think anyone had ever explained it to me, that way. If your job that's investing in you, that so many people are scared to leave, if they are investing in you and they're getting an extra value from you. I can tell you my own personal story, and I know Brandy is from the world of education as well. It was a very difficult decision for me not to have a side business, but to have a real business. So, I guess it's just like the men. It's kind of easy to have a side chick because, you can entertain it when you want to, and you don't have to entertain it when you don't want to. And by the way, I'm still going to try to understand the lemonade situation, but that's a whole nother story, guys. But anyway, so it's so easy to have a side business, but it's really hard to commit and marry to a business, And so for me, my business has started in the second grade selling candy. From that to, I was one of the first people that so excel when you used to buy those phone cards in college. Then from that Herbalife, and from that Avon and Mary Kay, I had all of these side businesses, excuse me. And so I never committed to them because I didn't expect them to fulfill everything to me. But just like when you're looking for a real mate, when I began to look for a real business, I look for different qualities. So when you look for a side business or side chick, you're looking for fun and a little piece of money here. But when you're looking to marry a business and enter into a business relationship, because believe me, it is a partnership between you and your business. Whether you have a partner or not, you're in a partnership. You look for different qualities: longevity, income producing activity, scalability, marketability. So I'm looking for different characteristics. When I was selling Avon, hey, I paid $10. Hey, you want some skin so soft? Yes, no, okay. Because it was a side business. So what kind of fears? I know for me, I have clients all the time asking me, about when they really begin to marry to a business. They have all of these fears about the things that they have to do. Like, I don't know the answer to this, Brandy. I don't know the answer to that. So what are some questions that you would say, Brandy, people need to answer before they marry a business?
I think one of the things that you need to guard against and be really careful about, excuse me, is creating a business and in turn creating another job for yourself. And what I mean by that is, sometimes people will leave a job in corporate America and start a business, but then they find themselves working 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week just to, keep that business going. So it's very important that you're clear about the goals that you have for your life, what you want your lifestyle to be, as well as what you want your business to look like in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years, so that you're really careful about where that business is going to lead you. You don't want to create another cubicle for yourself, right? So that scalability is really important. And in my business, which is an educational consulting company, I came to a point in the business where I've had to make some decisions now to bring on additional consultants. And of course, you're not going to make as much money as you would as if you were doing it yourself, but there's only so many hours in a day. And that's not being a boss if you're doing everything, right? You're really just farming yourself out to different people. So you have to be really careful about the way that you structure your business early on and the path that you see yourself for the future, so that you can make decisions so that your business can start to work for you at some point.
And that makes so much sense. And I know, some people don't want to share. And this is another fear that people have. Well, I don't want to deal with employees. And then I'm going to have to train. And then I'm going to have systems. Well, I can tell you from the beginning, if you don't have systems in place and you don't have employees, you still have a side business. Because just like when you're married and you marry a business, you have children. Those are your employees. If you have a real business, you're going to have other people you have to take care of. But in the end, they really take care of you. So don't be afraid of having employees. Don't be afraid of payroll. This is a payroll week for me. I can look at it like I'm going to lose $6,000 this week, or I can look at it like I have $6,000 to pay because I have 14 people doing work that I could not otherwise do by myself. And so really the way you look at things, the value and the worth of things is going to determine fear. The one thing that I know that combats fear is action. So Brandy said, you have to really decide what you want, what kind of business you want. You have to decide if you want to be a team of one, an army of one, if you're going to have a small business, or you're going to have a small team of maybe 10 to 15 people, or you're going to have a large organization of 100 people. So Brandy, I know you're within educational consulting, but they really don't know a lot about you. So okay. Tell them a little bit about you and now how many people you manage. Give them the full view of Brandy 5 years ago and Brandy now in your fear walk.
Okay. So, my background is everything. I graduated from Prairie View with a degree in chemical engineering. I worked offshore in the Gulf of Mexico. I hated it. I really wanted to be a teacher the whole time. So I became a teacher. I taught algebra, math, and I got students interested in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. So the engineering and the education kind of lended itself well. From that point, I left the classroom and started coaching teachers. So it was a promotion, and it was like a district position where I would go from school to school coaching people on what I saw them doing in the classroom. And so as I began moving from school to school to school, I realized that I was really a consultant for all of these different campuses. And so once I realized what I was actually doing, I really began to study the processes, study the things that were working, jotting down the things that weren't working, and trying some things while I was there. And the great thing about it is that when you are really present and understand how valuable this time is, the time that you're transitioning, you can start to plan your work in some ways to help you have a better, easier transition. So for example, for me, I created a couple of different strategies in the classroom, and I began to try it out on the students, right? So by the time I left and became a full-time consultant, I had data to back up the strategies that I was using. I had references from people who could speak to my credibility, and it was a lot smoother transition. And so for a lot of people, you're in that same position now. So instead of spending your days wishing that you were building your business, start building it while you're at work on the clock. Start finding out what's working and putting it inside of your toolbox, because right now they're paying you to build your business. So take advantage of it.
So Brandy, in your company now, how many people do you have that work for you?
I have a partner. So we co-own the business, and then we deal with contractors. So these are 1099 employees, and we may have 5 consultants working with us at a time. We may have 2 or 3 working with it. It just kind of depends on the number of contracts that we have and the amount of work that we have available. So in some cases, it doesn't even have to be somebody that you're paying X amount of dollars every single month. You can pull in people as needed. And as I always say, you don't have to do everything. You need to build your team of superstars right now. So if you don't know a lot about technology, find somebody who knows technology and bring them in on your team, right? They can do some part-time work for you. You know, it doesn't have to be them quitting their job too. It doesn't have to be that serious starting out, you know.
Exactly. I mean, we worked with a lot of people that were in Powerhouses United that were starting businesses. And Brandy last year, she was a guest at Powerhouses United, and she's going to be a speaker this year. And one of the reasons I really connected with her is because I got on her list, and I began to see her practicing what she preaches. The only way you can overcome fear is by activity. You have to debunk what their fear is telling you. So the only way you can say, if you're saying in your mind, I have an idea, but I don't know if it will work. Well, the only way you will ever know if it will work is if you plan it out and start working the plan. I don't care how many planning sessions you have. I don't care how many business plans you make. I don't care how many networking events you go to. You don't have a business until you begin working in that business, not working, thinking about that business. So I want to use one of my friends that is a photographer, and I love her so much. And when she started photography, Brandy, she just did mostly families and, and then she went into weddings. But over the years, I've seen her scale her business where she's not just doing families and weddings. I mean, she does my school and other schools. She did previews pictures for an event they had. I know that she did a local hospital. She went and took pictures of all of their employees for a new system that they had. She began to use those skills in a bigger way than taking pictures for one family at $100 to $200 a pop, where now I may have a contract for $20,000 for the same photography. And that's when you take your business from being a side chick to that main thing. I always say if you're on a 9 to 5, use that 9 to 5 to get the skills you need. But from 6 to 10, you have another job. And that job is building your business. So we have a few questions, Brandy, and I want to answer them. One of the questions from one of our listeners has said, I know I can do it, but I have a lot of negative self-talk. My brain is telling me something different than my skill set. How do I overcome that?
I'm a really animated person, but this is what I do. Sometimes, you'll hear negative thoughts or you're talking to yourself negatively and you have to stop it. So when I hear a negative thought, I almost do this, right? I'm like, and I just keep on with my day, right? Another one comes, right? They're going to come, but I think it's a matter of training yourself to recognize that that's a negative thought. That's garbage, right? That's not for me, not over my life. Block it, keep moving. And realize that if you were like sitting on the couch doing nothing, you probably wouldn't have a lot of negative thoughts, right? So those negative thoughts are coming because you're doing something and something great's about to come. So you have to keep moving. And like I was telling Brandy before, I think one of the biggest job of an entrepreneur is managing your emotions, right? Because things are going to be up and down and things are going to happen that are going to come from left field, right? You have all these fears about these things happening, and then something that you didn't even think about could happen, and you're like, what? I did not even think about that. So you're constantly up and down, right? So you have to be able to manage your emotions, that even though things are up and down, you're still able to take care of calling clients, right? You're still able to do those income generating activities. You're still able to do your basic marketing, right? You have to stay consistent no matter what kind of curveballs are coming at you, no matter what check bounce, no matter what, things will come at you. But also, I think those things come at you early on in your business to kind of build your muscle and thicken your skin, right? Those things come along so that you can add different verbiage to your contracts early on before the big contract comes, right? It's preparing you for something greater. So if you're able to weather this for a while, it's going to even out. But I know for a lot of people, when it's like this, you're like, oh no, I can't do this. And you quit too early. It's about just weathering it out and really giving yourself and your business a chance to succeed.
You definitely have to increase your tolerance. And not just tolerance for foolishness, because we don't want to
Foolishness.
We don't want to like tell you're going to deal with foolishness, but you are.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean your business is foolish. That does not mean your ideal is foolish. A lot of times when people see how well you're doing, their first instinct is, why didn't I think of that? You will find some duplicators.
Mm-hmm.
And those things definitely will teach you how to put things in place to protect your business. So that was really good. You know, that emotional roller coaster, Vivian Green, she sung that song. Because when you get on an emotional roller coaster, you affect your own money. Now, when you get mad at your job and you decide to take off a personal day, you got, time. You can take off a personal day. But when you get mad at your business and you take off a personal day, you could cause yourself months of income. So you have to make sure that you're answering your phone, that you are following up with email, that you're doing what you say that you're going to do. Because if not, you're giving a message to the world that you are unpredictable and unreliable. So why am I going to spend my money with you? So if you have a fear that you're not disciplined enough, you have to start disciplining yourself to do small things. Whether that's managing your social media or getting your emails out to your email list or building an email list. You have to build discipline over time, because as your projects get larger, you're going to have more discipline to execute them. Okay. We have another question, Brandy. So this person says, that they have a business and that they are producing some income, but they're very afraid of leaving their job. They're very afraid of leaving their job, and they still don't know what decision to make. So I know that you had to make that decision before. So can you help them out?
Yes. So I think there's a couple of ways you can go at it. And it's all because it's your business, right? You're the boss. I would probably, looking back, hindsight is 2020 or whatever, I would probably tell you to replace the income from your job with your business. So if you're making $50,000 a year in your job, be able to consistently bring in whatever that is per month in your business. Okay, that's one way to look at it. I've also looked at it as, okay, if I'm making $40,000, if I'm on track to make $40,000 a year, and I'm only working in my business, a couple of hours a week, think about what could happen if I'm in it 100% of the time, right? So I think the most important thing is that you have a cushion, you have a plan for the cushion, and realistically, no matter how much money you save, you probably need to save some more, if that makes sense. No matter how prepared you think you are, you probably need to prepare some more. So don't let that transition keep you from anything. You know what I'm saying? There's really nothing, now that I'm out of it, there's really nothing that I couldn't do with a job. You know what I'm saying? It might have taken extra planning. It may have taken some strategic partnerships. It may have taken me meeting some people and partnering with them and say, hey, you're going to be the person who's in charge of having client meetings while I'm at work. And then you're going to report back to me X, Y, and Z. And then, excuse me, I'll tell you what the next steps are going to be. You know what I'm saying? So there's always a way to conduct business and get business done, because you don't have to do everything, and they're not expecting you to do everything, right?
And you really don't want to train your clients that you're going to do everything. One of the things that my sister Natalie LaFall teaches her clients very, very soon is that I am not going to be the only person you talk to. So if you become the end all be all to your clients, whether if it's that photography business you're
Mhm.
opening up, it may be a t-shirt supply business, it may be a coaching or a consulting business, you may have some product that you're selling. If you teach people to only talk to you, you have created yourself a job and not a business. So if you teach people and you have systems in place early on for your clients, and there's so many free tools out there that can make your army of one or two seem like a mighty army of 10,000, you want to make sure that you put systems in place. The only thing I will tell you about, leaving your job, if you have a business, if you have a family unit, you always want to talk to your family unit. But you have something inside of you better than a family unit. You have something inside of you better than your plan, because his plan is greater than our plan. Sometimes you will feel God lead you in a certain direction. And that will supersede, what looks like logic. When we opened the first school, it did not seem logical to people who were looking from the outside. Why in the world would this girl open this school in this tiny little building? Why in the world would she leave her good paying job with the people? Well, let me tell you something. I had a different vision for myself. And sometimes life will force you into your purpose. But I don't want that to be your story. And I keep telling you guys that. Don't have to make the decision. Don't wait until your back is against the wall to make the decision. So I'm going to say have healthy practices in your business. When you know your business is healthy, then you can leave your job. When you know that you are using your time wisely and your resources wisely, then you can leave your job. But until then, you need to begin to gain discipline. You need to stay on a schedule and a routine so you can see the results you want, because that's going to eliminate that fear factor the more activity that you can produce in your business.
And can I add something else? For the majority of us, you come in contact with the most people over the course of your day at your job, right? So if you quit your job too soon, starting a business and being an entrepreneur can be lonely at the beginning, right? Because you're in the house, you're on the computer, you're tic-tacking. You don't want to cut off your lifeline. When you're building your business and when you're thinking about transitioning, you need to be talking to as many people as you can, making as many connections as you can, going in and slaying the project as much as you can, building a relationship for yourself, getting as much free training as you can, looking at as many of their processes and procedures as you can. So, don't do it too quick. You know what I'm saying? Because when you leave, you're going to have to pay for the sticky notes. You're going to have to pay. Sticky notes are like $10 a pack. Like, don't, be careful about what you do. This is preparation. You're building your toolbox. I was feeling myself getting a little negative at my job. Like, oh, these people are getting on my nerves. But like I said, if I knew what I know now, I would have just taken a couple of more classes or something, or, done something else to occupy my mind while I was at work, or focus on the pieces of my job that I really loved, to kind of wear it out a little bit more and build a couple of more relationships, because you can't ever have too many relationships, especially when you're going into a business doing something similar to something you did in your career in corporate America. Relationships are everything.
So tell me a little bit. You said I would have taken another class, or I would have kind of sharpened my saw. So what did you do to build a confidence in yourself and those little micro things that you do in business to grow your business? What are some of the things that you did to invest in yourself to learn how to navigate in your business?
Okay. So I started with, of course, webinars, ebooks, and that type of thing, the free stuff. But the free stuff is only going to get you so far. That's more like what you need to do. But it's not the how and all those little details that really matter. So I enrolled in Marie Forleo's V School. And I did that. I mulled over the material for about 6 months. Then I worked with a coach. Spent a pretty good amount of money on a coach. I could have got a less expensive coach. But I think spending the money on a premium level coach did motivate me and push me and help keep me focused early on. I don't know if it reached all of the results that I hoped that it would, but it definitely gave me a very strong foundation. So if I could have done that over again, I probably would have done a little bit more research and looked around and previewed coaches and kind of interviewed them a little bit more. But investing in my business really did make a difference. I was able to easily see new opportunities. I was able to kind of streamline my business and create processes that helped me, do things like build my list, get new customers, but also really understand the sales process, because that's something that I hadn't done in my corporate job as much as I needed. I didn't have as much training as I needed in that area.
And the one thing I always tell people, especially if you are moving into a sales oriented business and you're selling yourself, is you have to learn how to be able to tell people what you do relatively quickly. You need to have an online presence that matches your offline presence, but you still have to show up offline. Some of us, we just, try to just be online. You just want to post your products on Facebook or Instagram, but you also have to have an offline presence. But in order to build your brand, especially if your brand is centered around you and you have a service, you have to have a consistency and a follow-up flow. I can tell you, if you're scared about losing customers, all you have to do is be the one person who follows up. There are so many good businesses that have horrible follow-up. People want your services, but you don't follow up. And then if you do follow up, you don't ask for the referral. So those are two places where you can always make sure you don't leave money on the table. You need to follow up, and you also need to get a referral. Mm-hmm. Even though I have a service-based industry and I'm a school, everyone in this world can't go to my school because it's in a one location. But I cannot tell you how my business is so based on referrals. We, Brandy, at the beginning of the year, we did a campaign. And the campaign was to get 30 new students in a 60-day period. Now, we did not reach our goal. And I'm still smiling. But let me tell you why I'm smiling. Even though we did not reach our goal, in that time since then, we have gained 27 students. We're 3 away from our goal. We didn't meet the time deadline. Even though we had a time deadline, we did not meet that time deadline. However, those 30 students were going to impact us in a way that it was going to increase our revenue by $12,000 a month. Now, what if we didn't have that plan? We wouldn't increase by the $8,000 a month that we increased by. So sometimes even when you make a plan, it may not execute the way that you think it will. But if you're working that plan, it calls us to follow up with parents. It calls us to get referrals. It calls us to make sure we were marketing on social media. That campaign alone has grown our business by $60,000 since we started the campaign. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's not about just the end result. It's the work you do to get to the result that teaches you so much.
It's also building momentum. Things are moving, you're seeing change, especially when you're starting out. It's about, you may not see the benefits of your actions immediately. And this may not be scientific research, but I noticed that I would see results about 90 days out, right, in my business, 60 to 90 days out, especially in the beginning. So, if your mind is not right, you'll get frustrated about what you're seeing, like, oh, this isn't working, and switch to something else, right? So staying really focused on your goal is so important. But then also, like you said, if you don't have a strong mindset and you're not really clear, you might have been devastated because you only got these 25 students, you know what I'm saying? But there are so many other things that happen. You might not have hit the 30 student goal, but you probably had increased brand awareness, you had increased referrals, people are probably still talking about you. Those same social media posts probably have lots of likes and social proof on them, so they're probably still moving their way around the social media. So over time, you'll probably exceed the goal of 30 students. You know what I mean?
We better exceed the goal. We really are kind of push through that goal at the end of this month. But and that's another thing that knocks fear out of the park. Instead of being scared of, will I be able to do this in this amount of time? You know, I do have my 100-day journal. I haven't put a new 100-day goal out, but instead of putting all this fear on a thing, put focus on it. You know, it's just like, if you want to run a marathon, you're not going to say, oh, I can only run this much this day. No, you're going to run until you increase your stamina. And there is some science to what you said, Brandy, and it's about motion. Things that are in motion, they stay in motion. So when you put some things in motion in your business, they're going to stay in motion long after you're pushing that ball. If you train your employees, it's going to stay in long motion. The culture that you build around your business, the online culture, how quick you respond to email, how quick you fill an order. Do you have days that you fill orders? Those things stay in motion and they make people refer you out. They make people come to you again and again and again. I don't want a customer that's a one-time customer. I want a repeat customer. I want a customer that week after week comes into the school and says, I want your service. Because if they just come one time, it's great. I make buy my kids a hamburger, but I'm not building a legacy. That's the same thing for you. It doesn't matter what product you're selling or what service you're rendering. If you're a caterer, you want that person to call you for their wedding, their birthday, their kid's birthday party, their social event. But just because you're a caterer does not mean you don't need a list. You need a list. You need to be telling me about your new menu items. If you're a photographer, I need to see the pictures of your last wedding. It doesn't matter what type of business you have. You have to communicate with your audience consistently. You have to ask them for referrals consistently. You have to follow up consistently to get the consistent money.
That's it. And that consistency, brain fart. That consistency is very important. But then also, I think that that's why email is so important in your business and building your list, because those people who have purchased from you once will purchase from you again for a lot less money and with a lot less energy than somebody who you just met. So what I mean is that it's easier for somebody who has purchased from you once to purchase from you again. Okay. So if you focus your attention on having repeat buyers and people buying from you multiple times, it's a better expenditure of your energy, and also it's more cost efficient. Okay. For your emails, they're going to open more of your emails. They're going to click on more of your emails because they already know what to expect. So focusing on repeat buyers and creating a buyer list and communicating with them consistently really does make a difference.
The other thing I want to talk about before we talk about PHU, the event is this Saturday. We really hope to see you guys there. Brandy and Tammy and Candace and I will be bringing you our very best. The event is only $47, but I will be giving away 2 seats over the next few days because we really want to get you in the house. Now, we do want you to invest in yourself, but we had a wonderful sponsor that sponsored 2 seats, and I want to be able to offer them to you. So if you're on tonight and you want one of those free seats, the first seat will go to the first person who messaged me on Facebook. My Facebook is Brandy Woods. My picture's all over it. Or you can go to the Powerhouses United page. The first person that sends me a message saying that I want to go, I can go, I'll be there on time and energized, you can have a free seat. And I will give out the second free seat at the end of this interview. So I'm waiting on that pop-up right now. I'm just thinking.
Can I add something?
Yes.
Your community and the relationships that you build are so important as you're transitioning. This thing can get lonely out here. When I walked into the room of last year's conference, it was fun. It was light. You could tell that it was women who genuinely wanted to support other women, who were there to learn, who were there to share, who were there to have a good time, to support each other. So I recommend that everybody who is listening and everybody who's going to be watching the replay to really invest the time, even if you get a ticket, invest the time and really come invested in the process, invested to take something with you that you're going to implement in your life and your business, invested in making some connections and helping somebody who may be a couple of steps behind you to flourish and help their business grow. But just focus on having a positive experience with a room full of powerful women.
Yes. So first free seat, I'm ready to give it out. All you have to do is inbox me saying, Brandy, I can be there. I will be there. And I want a free seat. I would love to give it to someone who really feels like they're at a point where they can apply what we're going to be teaching to their business. This is a question that I just received.
Okay.
So this person says that they have started a business, but right now they are not knowing if they made the right decision. And so they're really thinking about getting a job and going back to work. I mean, to me, when I read that, I felt sad because I can imagine that they have experienced some bumps in the road, and I'm sure they believe in their vision. So, but they say they are ready to give up. What can we say to this person, Brandy?
I would say before they give up, I'd have a couple of questions for them. Have they really invested in the time, the energy, and the resources to have somebody look over their business with a fresh set of eyes? I mean, there are some people charging caboodles of dollars for that, I understand, but I'm going to share an opportunity for us just to hook up. We could talk, and you might just need a fresh set of eyes over your business. Sometimes tweaking one or two things can make a lot of difference. That's number one. I feel sad for that too. Number two, okay. At one point, I had to be big girl about it. Like, okay, Donald Trump, no matter how we feel about him, he has had to file bankruptcy, right? 50 Cent has had to restructure his debt. You know what I'm saying? So it happens to the best of us. So let's not be so hard on ourselves and so rigid and inflexible about what our journey is going to look like, because we don't know, right? It may be that when you go back to your job, you meet the perfect person who had that exact thing that you were missing, and in the next 6 months, things blow up for you. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I think we're so locked into the shape or the form of the blessing or how it's going to come or when or why or this is what I wanted, that we miss something big that's going to happen. So just be open to the journey. It may have some hooks and valleys in it, but ultimately you have to take care of yourself, take care of your family, and sometimes you have to take a step back before you can take 2 steps forward. Was that motivational?
Yes, thank you. So Brandy is going to be putting a link in the Facebook group and telling you how, if you want to have a consultation with her, that she's willing to do that. Also, anyone who signs up for PHU by tonight at midnight will also get a 30-minute consultation with myself and possibly with Natalie Whistlefall if you have some marketing particular questions, because I'm not a marketing expert, but she is. And she offered a wonderful offer to the PHU community on last week. If you still don't have a website, she offered to do a 5-page website for our audience for $500, Brandy. I was like, what?
And that's a good deal, guys. That is a good deal.
That is an awesome deal.
Paying thousands.
Yes, you want people. She said she paid thousands. Did you hear that? And so I know that I paid the same thousands to the same designer. So I was a little salty at first, but she said she really believed in this group and that she wanted to give back to them because it's very important that you have an online presence.
And can I clarify? As a matter of fact, I paid thousands for the pictures that were going to go on the website, like all that branding stuff, not to even think about what the cost of the website actually was. So that's a good deal.
Wow. The other thing that I would say to that person who's feeling like you're ready to give up, most of the time when you're ready to give up, you just have to refine. Go back to that moment when you started that business. And I want you to think about the clarifying questions that I teach. They're the first things I teach in all of my courses. So if you take any class with me, the first 5 minutes, you're going to hear the same thing because we can't go any farther than this. It's just like acknowledging that first that there is a God. Now we can go anywhere else we want to go. Why did you start that business?
Mm-hmm.
We don't start a business just for money. If you ever start a business just for money, you will burn out, you will crash immediately. There has to be a bigger why.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to tell you why I started Powerhouses United. I started Powerhouses United with a distinct purpose. That's why for me, if there are 10 people or 10,000 people in the room on Saturday, they're going to all get my best. I wanted to be able to impart into women or men, if they chose to connect, how to birth their dream in a healthy manner. Not to birth it too premature, not to hold it too long where it's hurting you, but to birth their dream in a way that was healthy. In order to birth any dream, you have to have some prenatal. So we have some dream prenatal. First of all, why are you starting this business? Who is your customer?
Mm-hmm.
What problem are you solving for that customer? How much is that customer willing to pay? And what are you expecting in return? So if I'm starting a little league, those babies cannot pay me anything in return. I'm just going to get some love and some donations. That's not a business. That's an organization. Okay. If I'm starting a women's health group, and those women are battered and they're rebuilding, my funding may not come from them, but they may come from other organizations. I have to understand those things very early on when I'm structuring my business. Once you know what you want out of your business, if it's for profit or if it's nonprofit, you will understand how to structure your business. Second of all, who am I trying to reach? Powerhouses United is trying to reach women, mostly the ages between 28 and 55, who are either coming out of a career, deciding that they now want to work for themselves, or they're ready to start a second career where they are the captain of their ship. We want to teach them how to healthily grow a list, how to brand themselves, how to communicate with customers, and how to price their good or service where they are making a profit. Thirdly, I want to create millionaires, not six-figure earners. Six figures, I promise you, if you put your mind to it, you can revenue six figures in 90 days. Am I lying, Brandy? I know I'm not.
Yeah.
If you put your mind to it, you can revenue six figures in 90 days. And if you really want to talk about how, sign up for PHU in your 30-minute consultation. Say, Brandy, I don't believe you. Show me how. I can show you very easily in 90 days.
I'll show you the numbers.
Yes, I will show you real numbers, and not just mine. I mean, not just in this industry. I can show you real numbers. But I wanted to teach people how to scale their business in such a way that they had freedom to also live the life that they wanted to live. And so this is what we teach at PHU, a work-life balance. So those of you know me know that I have two beautiful daughters, and that they have very, very different needs. In order for me to execute their needs as a great parent, I need time, but I also need money, right? And so to afford them the opportunities and the time, I wanted to be able to create a lifestyle and opportunities for them that I could not do if I was stuck on a job. And so when I structured this business, I structured it to not depend on me. I structured it that it would have my love and my heart and my vision, but all of my employees can state the vision. They can write the vision. We have wrote it. It's written plain, and they run with the vision. When you go back to those fundamentals, those prenatals of opening your business, of birthing that dream, then and only then can you create and raise up that baby and raise up that dream to be healthy and productive. Because the goal is, just like with your children, first you take care of them, and then they take care of you. So if you take care of your business, it will definitely take care of you. So Brandy, I want to wrap up tonight with, we have about 10 minutes.
Okay.
I want to just reiterate, we're giving 2 seats tonight. We're looking for the first person to inbox me on Facebook, and I will be announcing that person shortly.
So
and
are
then,
you saying that that person has not inboxed you yet?
I am not saying that. I'm just saying.
I was going to say, because I read something that you can tell the success of a person by the amount of action that they take, the speed at which they take action. So successful people, I think it says, they don't take a lot of time to take action, and then once they make a decision, they're going to go with it. You know, they may have to change it later, but it's all good. Unsuccessful people, they mull over decision. They take a long time to make the first decision, and then, you know,
you're wasting time.
Quick, right? You're going to
be a quick yes or a quick no.
Right? Either you is or you ain't, right? I'm sorry.
No, you're right. But I'm waiting on that person to inbox me. I mean, I'm not saying they haven't.
Okay, I'm just saying.
I haven't announced anyone yet. I'm still looking. I want to give this seat to a person who is available, who is willing and ready to take on this information, and they know that they can use it to grow their business. So, Brandy, I want you to give them some last tips and tell them why they have to be a PHU, and then I'm going to close us out for tonight.
Okay. Closing tips. I think my closing challenge for all the women out there who are still working full time but are thinking 1 foot in, 1 foot out is for the rest of this week to open your eyes and really look at all the opportunities that you have in front of you at work. Think about all the resources that you have available to you right now that can be used to build your business, right? Go to a lunch and learn in the sales department. Go to a marketing meeting one day when you have a few minutes. Like sign up for a class on something that you know that you're weak on in your business, right? Take home an operations manual for an area that's going to be similar to your business and find out how they structure their processes, right? Just take time and take advantage of all the opportunities that are around you to start to build your toolkit, because they are there. So that's training, processes, relationships. Start to look for those people who you can pull into your circle and say, hey, you know, would you ever be interested in doing some side work if an opportunity came about later on? You don't have to tell them all your business. It's just about finding people who are open for new opportunities too. So that's my challenge for you, just getting really clear about all the opportunities that are around you and take advantage of 2 of them, right? Take advantage of 2 new opportunities to do something to build and strengthen your business.
So on Saturday at PHU, Brandy will be talking to us about the about the how of Fearless Business 101. Today we talked a little bit about the what, but if you really are ready to take your business to the next level, you're ready to open up your business, you're thinking about opening up a location, we'll be talking in detail. On Saturday, I will be telling you 7 surefire ways to spring forward in your business in the next 90 days. And I'm putting 90 days on it because if I give you 180 days, you just going to work the last 90. In 90 days, your life can look totally different. For all of my teachpreneurs out there, hey, teachers, you have a whole summer coming up.
Teachers rock.
I mean, come on, we can blow it out of the water if you're a teacher. If you're not a teacher, you still can use this 90-day challenge to really show and prove not only to your family and to the naysayers, but to yourself that you have the discipline, the ideal, the ingenuity, and the innovation to run a successful business. I'm telling you, I'm not going to play with you on Saturday. I'm going to give you putting in the proof 7 surefire ways that you can grow your business in 90 days. I need you there on Saturday. I want you there on Saturday. You need you there on Saturday. You can sign up at powerhousesunited.com. The link is also in the Facebook group. We want to give you an opportunity to grow your business, to be a part of the PHU community. If for some reason you're not on the mailing list, please get on the mailing list. It's so important that we are able to communicate on a regular basis and that we're able to answer your question. Y'all know me. I'm Brandy, the midwife of all dreams. I really love seeing your dreams come into fruition. I'm not a coach, but I have a lot of great coaches and great consultants out there that are ready to help your business. But I am a profit strategist. And if you're looking at your business and you're thinking, Brandy, you know what? My actions and my profits, they're just not lining up. I know that there's a better way. I mean, let's talk. We want to make sure that what you're doing is making sense for you and your family. I'm going to leave you with this. No matter what you decide to do, make a decision. Make a decision. Sometimes we look at fear and we let it grip us and paralyze us. But, I did my first webinar and it was called Kick Fear in the Face. And it was about a year ago. If I could retitle that webinar today, it would be Put Fear in My Pocket. Fear is not bad if you listen to it. Sometimes it pushes you in the direction of this is what I need to focus on. This is what I need to research. This is what I need to be aware of. It's just like hearing a sound in your house at night. What's that? When you hear that fearful voice talking to you, think about what it's telling you. How can you over prepare for that situation? So if you're hearing, oh, I'm not going to have enough customers, that means you need to go out and talk to 10 customers today. You need to go and follow up with customers. I'm not going to have enough money. You need to go and look at your budget and see where you're wasting money. You need to look and see how your finances are structured. Don't fight fear. Embrace it. Listen to it. Let it guide you into the areas that you may need to reevaluate and restructure. But most of all, make the decision to choose you. Don't wait on anyone to give you permission to be great, because God already ordained you to be great. He says that he gave you the power to get wealth. He says, when you open your mouth, I will word your tongue. He gave you the ability to create and innovate. And so why not you? You are a powerhouse. And we hope that on Saturday that you join forces. Please go to powerhousesunited.com. Find out about us. We have so many free products and programs, but twice a year we come together and we really want you to be there. This is our last webinar, but on Saturday you'll hear from Tammy you'll hear from Tammy Durden with Get Up and Dust Yourself Off and Win. You'll hear from Candace Kirkwood telling us how to structure our business for success. Brandi Spencer will be giving us Fearless Business 101, and I will be giving you 7 surefire ways to spring forth in your business in 90 days. Brandy, thank you so much for being on with me tonight.
You are so welcome. I enjoyed it.
So Powerhouse community, we thank you for being a powerful force. Bring someone along with you. Tell them about the journey that we're taking. We will meet 7 figures in 2017. Collectively, me individually, let's track it. Let's chart it. Let's knock it out of the water. And don't forget, the only limits you have in life are the limits that you put on yourself. See you soon.